Good evening, good evening. If I can have everyone take their seat. Again, everyone, please take your seat. Evening, good evening, good evening. Please go ahead and take your seat. Again, take your seat.
Hola familia, it's Daddy Yankee, the big boss. Keep dancing and listening to Dura in the new YouTube music app. Fuego, Chihuahua.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. No, I need a response. Good evening. There we go. Go ahead and grab your seat. Let's go ahead and begin this amazing night. Go ahead and grab your seat. It is a filled house tonight. Please make some noise for yourself tonight. I love it. I love it. All right. So please stand for the presentation of colors by our very own Girl Scouts of San Bernardino Troop 1407 and our national anthem sang by Madeline Hernandez.
Color guard, attention. Color guard, advance. Color guard, post colors. Audience, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Color guard dismissed.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets irregular, the balls bursting in air, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Color guard dismissed.
You may be seated. Please make some noise for our Troop 1407 and the amazing Madeline Hernandez for joining us to begin and sing our national anthem. How's everyone feeling tonight? Now I need some more energy than that. How's everyone feeling tonight? Awesome. So please help me welcome our amazing president of this amazing college, San Bernardino Valley College, Miss President Diana Rodriguez.
Thank you, Daryl. Thank you so much. I think I'm going to let him introduce me all the time. That was pretty good. Well, good evening and welcome on behalf of all of our students here at San Bernardino Valley College, and some of them are here joining us today, and our faculty and our administrators, and on behalf of our chancellor and our board of trustees. Thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate you joining us today as we extend a warm welcome to you. And also, we would like to thank also their speaker who will be joining us, and you for joining us here in honor of this great occasion. So let's give him a round of applause. Thank you. And also for our very own San Bernardino Valley College alumna and an extremely good friend of the college, Assemblymember Eloise Gómez Reyes. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. You know, it just warms my heart to see this room so full, and it's about standing room only because it reminds me of the mission of our community colleges and why we're here. You know, the community colleges are truly the heart of a community, the heart of helping people to succeed. We serve as the bridge between the K-12, our K-12 partners, and our four-year institutions. We also help drive the economics here of our community by preparing skilled workers and labor force to earn livable wages here in our community. So thank you so much for being here. It is absolutely my pleasure to welcome you. And if this is your first time joining us here at the college, I welcome you to come again. We'd love to give you a tour. If you've been here previously, I would love for you to come back again and again and again, and bring a friend, do it again, because this is truly your house. San Bernardino Valley College, as I like to say, truly is the community's college. So again, thank you for being here, and we hope that you have a great time during this fantastic celebration. Thank you.
Awesome. You guys can do better than that for our president. Amazing. Let me go ahead and move some things over. So as you know, we cover a lot of cities, and I want to kind of get a roll call to see who's in the building. If you're from Colton, make some noise. Rialto. Okay, a couple of you guys came out. Okay, see what's going on here. Bloomington or Muscoy. Fontana. Okay, you guys carpooled? What you guys do? Grand Terrace. Awesome. And San Bernardino. Awesome. So I do want to bring up, there's a lot of important people here, but I want to bring up our House Speaker, our Honorable Speaker Anthony Rendon. Please join him and help me welcome him as he comes up.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? San Bernardino wins, but the Fontana folks Fontana folks are excited. And I'm excited too. It is such an honor to be here to celebrate my good friend Eloise Reyes' second swearing in. Now, I have the honor of being with Eloise about 4 days a week in Sacramento. You get her on weekends, so we kind of have joint custody of her. You see all the incredible work that she does here in the communities that were just mentioned. You see all of the great work that she does here on the ground, all the constituent services that she does. what I see in Sacramento is somebody who is always thinking about the state. Keep in mind, this is an incredibly big state, incredibly diverse state, a state of 40 million people, right? It's a state about 8 times larger than Ireland, for example. A state of, yay. we have a bunch of people from San Bernardino, Fontana, and one guy from Ireland. With this vast state with different types of economies and geographies and all of that. And to be able to think about the different things that everybody needs in this state is quite a challenge. But the key to being a great legislator is to think within that sort of statewide context, but at the same time always leading from your own community. Always making sure that the people of San Bernardino, that the people of Fontana, I'm not going to do, we heard them all already, but the people in this community, in this district, are getting the representation within that larger context. Eloise understands what I understand, which is that her community has a lot of challenges, like my community has challenges. And her community needs the representation in Sacramento. Her community needs the resources in Sacramento to make sure that the folks in this community can be all that they can be, and that the schools can be all that they can be. We don't do any of this on our own. We do it as part of a team effort. We're going to have James Ramos on our team this year. But Eloise also has a wonderful district staff. She has a wonderful capital staff. You should give them an ovation. And a wonderful partner in Frank. Frank is someone who in Sacramento is always representing you as well. So thank you, Frank. We appreciate that. I'm glad you gave me a little bit of applause here and there, but nobody came to hear me speak. You all came to hear to see me give Eloise her oath of office, didn't you? So let's do that. Come on up, Eloise. I think you're supposed to raise your right hand. I will do. Okay, here we go. For the oath of office for member of the California Assembly, repeat after me. I,
Eloise Reyes,
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, newly elected to the state of California State Assembly, Miss Eloise Gómez Reyes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. It's so wonderful to see all of you here. It's just great. I've got to tell you, having my speaker here is the best. We tried to get him the first time, but he was so busy swearing everybody else in. But here he is with us today. You know, there's an old African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I choose to go far, and I choose to go together with all of you. Put those there for a minute. I have too many cards in my hand there. When you go alone, you only have to worry about your goals. You don't have to worry about anybody else. What do I want? What do I want to get out of this? Where do I want to go? But when you go with a group, you've got to figure out what their needs are. You've got to figure out how you uplift them. You've got to figure out how you all arrive together. Because if you already made a plan to go far, you've got to make sure you all get there together. And for me, having all of you be part of my togetherness is the best that can happen to me. Even after all that we've been through, I still choose to go far, and I still choose to go with all of you. I choose to make this a journey of inclusion and equity. I want us all to reach the end together. And today I welcome you to the second state of the district, which means that I got reelected, so I get to do this. We celebrate community. We celebrate the things we've done together, because you all know none of this happens with just one person. And for me, having the recognition of our speaker, the Speaker of the California State Assembly, Anthony Rendon, with us, this is the best. Please, another round of applause. Since arriving in Sacramento, I've had the privilege of working under the Speaker's leadership, and it is my absolute privilege to call him my friend. My journey to Sacramento happened because of all of you. I look around, and boy, oh boy, you've been with me from the very beginning. You've been with me in the tough times, but you've also celebrated with me, and I really appreciate that. I've made it my mission to make sure that I take your voice to Sacramento, to the halls of the Capitol. And I've made it my journey, my goal, to make sure that in the end, I bring back the resources and the opportunities that this district absolutely deserves. As we all know, elevating our community is a team effort. And at this time, I'd like to recognize some of the elected officials that have joined us today. He was introduced earlier, but my new colleague, Assemblymember James Ramos. From the city of Grand Terrace, my mayor, Darcy McNaboe. From my city of Colton, Mayor Pro Tem Ernest Cisneros. From the Board of Education from San Bernardino City Unified School District, Dr. Scott Wyatt. Newly elected to the 2nd Ward for San Bernardino, City Councilwoman Sandra Ibarra. From the city of Rialto, and a gentleman who held this position years ago, our City Councilman Joe Baca Jr. From the city of Grand Terrace, newly elected Councilmember Jeff Allen. City of Fontana was pretty loud, and their council member, John Roberts. With us also is our sheriff, John McMahon. From the California Community College's Chancellor's Office, from the Board of Governors, we have Bill Rawlings. From the San Bernardino Community College District, Dr. Ann Virasel, Vice President of the Board. The Clerk of the Board and the immediate past President of the Board of the Community College District, Joseph Williams. Dr. Donald Singer, also a board member and past president of this, or was it Crafton Hills? Oh, Dr. Singer. Dr. Singer. Dr. Stephanie Houston, the newest member of the San Bernardino Community College District Board of Trustees. Now, I love you all of you who are members of the Board of Trustees. I do. You're all doing a fine job. But I do have my favorite. That's my husband, Frank Reyes. From the San Bernardino City Unified School District, our president, Abigail Medina. The Inland Empire Utilities Agency Municipal Water District, the new vice president, recently re-elected, Jasmine Hall. From Congressman Pete Aguilar's office, Danny Mia. From Senator Connie Leiva's office, Edgar Castellan. From Mayor John Valdivia's office, Erica Murphy. San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, Ted Alejandro's office, Linda Miranda. From the Consulate of Mexico, Jorge Torres and Jorge Leiva. And the Vice-Consul for the Consulado de Guatemala, Licenciada Leticia Piñeda. Okay, where's... And I'd like to also acknowledge some very special, I've already talked about Frank, but with me also is my sister, Dr. Rosa Gomez. Also a graduate of San Bernardino Valley College. With me also is my nephew, Taylor Gomez. Also a graduate of San Bernardino Valley College. Went on to get his bachelor's, master's, and doctorate, and also my Raquel. And Diego is somewhere out here. My son is in San Diego. I forgive him, though. I do forgive him. As we all prepared for the journey during my first term, I had the privilege of meeting many of you. You shared your hopes, your concerns, your dreams. And since I've been in Sacramento, what I love about it is that you have continued to share those with me. It is clear that even though we come from different backgrounds, we have had different life experiences, we have different perspectives, different party alliances. There's a whole lot more that joins us than divides us. I hear you. I hear you. You tell me that you want jobs with livable wages. You tell me you want to drink clean water and breathe clean air. Yes. Environmental justice is at the top of all of this. You want to be in a safe environment. You want to be treated with respect, and you want your rights protected. You want a good quality education for yourself and for your family. You want affordable health care. You're concerned about and want to protect the most vulnerable. You want everyone to pay their fair share. You want small businesses to thrive. You want to afford to buy your home, take vacations, and save some money. You want resources and opportunities for your community. Well, I want all of this and more for all of you because you all deserve it. And now that we're entering our second term, I want to share some of our success stories. So let's talk about the legislative update. I made a promise to this district that I would be your voice in Sacramento. I promised you that I would make sure that the leaders in Sacramento knew that San Bernardino was here, and Fontana, and Colton, and Grand Terrace, and Rialto, Muscoy, and Bloomington. Daryl, you got to keep me on top of this. I'm not going to share every one of the success stories that I have, because I'd like to tell you that we have lots of them. But in my first year, I authored AB 952. It was legislation which proposed to establish the first of its kind, a bilingual teacher's assistance program. As we know, teachers are the lifeblood of our educational system. And one of the things that we can provide for them is professional training, professional education. And this particular bill, as we had lots of support, and it was wonderful. And it made it all the way to the governor, and what he did is he put $5 million in the budget to make sure that it was properly funded. The program was officially established in 2018, and it awarded one of its first grants to the San Bernardino County Office of Education. Yes. The Rialto School District, San Bernardino City Unified School District, and other local partners will train over 120 local educators with bilingual skills by 2020 because of this funding. These successes and so many others are going to continue through 2018. Through strong advocacy and engagement from my office and from the community, I'm proud to announce that San Bernardino and Muscoy was selected as one of 3 communities under AB 617 to receive services that will help our communities with increased emission reductions and monitoring, again, as a product of AB 617. There's $10 million that was put in the budget specifically for it, and there are 3 communities that have been selected. These investments recognize our area's needs for environmental justice and will bring the necessary resources to address air quality throughout our community. I'd like a round of applause for that one. So I've got to tell you, environmental justice is right at the top of what we need to take care of. To address the issues of youth employment, I introduced AB 2830, which requires county internship and student assistant positions to provide career pathways for disadvantaged groups such as foster youth and homeless youth. The legislation was signed by Governor Brown, and it will provide our local youth with those opportunities to help them as they move toward full employment. It's great to have advocates like Leah. She's been such an advocate for our foster youth. And so when I ask for ideas in the community, you tell me those ideas. And I'll share a little bit more about those because I'm going off script now. This year, I also introduced AB 9 as a response to the Me Too movement. The bill will increase the statute of limitations to report a sexual harassment claim from 1 year, which is what it is now, to 3 years. The Speaker appointed me to be part of that committee, the joint committee that was evaluating what it was the legislature needed to do to better respond to those who had been victims of sexual harassment. The testimony was so moving, and we realized that survivors need more time. 1 year is simply not enough. They're just trying to wrap their brains around what just happened. The loss of jobs, the loss of in some instances, loss of dignity. So 3 years is what we need. We made it all the way through last year, but it was vetoed. Oh, he's right. But we're going back this year because it's too important and we cannot let it go. The 2018 budget is another way that we are able to bring back those resources to our community. The budget illustrated critical victories for our region, including an expansion of the Earned Income Tax Credit, which I first proposed in AB 2387, that will extend the credit to an additional 700,000 people in California. Ongoing funding for the long-term ombudsman program, which I proposed in AB 550. This funding will ensure that seniors are protected in long-term facilities. Over $1 million to support enforcement of freight regulations to protect disadvantaged communities. An increase of $12 million for the Electric Program Investment Charge, or the EPIC program, which assists, I'll finish the sentence and then you can applaud, which assists with deployment and demonstration of clean energy technologies. Because of this bill, 25% of the money in the EPIC fund now has to go to the disadvantaged communities. And through CalEnviro Screen, they determine which are the communities that are disadvantaged. And 95% of my district is disadvantaged. So we're getting the money. Additional local funding in the 47th district, including wildland fire engine for San Bernardino County to give our firefighters the tools they need. And that was after the $1 million fire truck for Colton. Plus $1.5 million in emergency equipment for the city of Rialto. Rialto is represented. We also gained funding for a new walkway and revitalization of downtown Colton. Finally, a victory that impacts the very place we're at now. We were able to get $1 million for San Bernardino Valley College to expand their career technical education programs. Before we introduce our guest performers, I'd like to introduce two of my Capitol staff who have worked tirelessly with me to ensure that we get all of our legislation and our budget requests taken care of. That is my Chief of Staff, Mark Farouk, and my Legislative Director, Matthew Hamlet. My other Capitol staff are Melissa Cosio, who is from San Bernardino. We took her up there. Amr Rashid, Galen Dobbins, Nicole Montoya, and we also have a fellow, Merrill Press. Plus, now that I have Human Services, we have two consultants who are part of my staff now, Daphne Hunt and Kelsey Castillo. They truly are the hardest working, most resourceful, and intelligent staff in the entire Capitol, and I love bragging about them. And now, you all need a break from me, so let's get the Let's welcome, please, the Mariachi Juvenil Corona de Ángeles. Thank you so much. I have seen this group just grow. When I was on election night, they came, and there was a group that came with them. And so they were all little kids, and they're still little kids, but they're grown a little bit more. If you'll allow me also, I'd like to introduce a dear friend of mine, George Avila. George, you all know that in my first life I was an attorney. And I met George when he was 16 years old. That's right. George was the victim of a gunshot. And it's because of him that I have such strong feelings on gun control. Love you, George. George has walked the streets with me. Right, George? I love it. One of the other things that we did is that we formed advisory committees. We wanted to be sure that it was the community that gave us ideas for policies. You all know what you need. Somebody asked, well, do you have one of those programs, There Ought to Be a Law? I said, we have something better. It's my advisory committees. So my education advisory committee talked to me about the fact that our students were not getting proper instruction for FAFSA and DREAM Act applications. So we introduced AB 2015. It was signed by the governor. It will now require all high schools to provide the proper training for all of our students to make sure they get their FAFSA and DREAM Act applications in. My Veterans Advisory Committee told me about a problem with many of our veterans who were arrested and didn't know that they could go to the Veterans Court. So as a result of that, we introduced AB 2568. So if our veterans are ever arrested, that will be documented, and it will follow, that information will follow them so that they can then avail themselves of Veterans Court at any time. So your voice is really important, and we wanted to do something more than just advisory committees. So now we are introducing Policy 47. I love my staff. The Policy 47 will have a number of 17 committees that will be focused on various areas in the community, whether it's homelessness, education, environmental justice, mental health, immigration, LGBTQ issues, seniors, veterans, and others. These committees will be meeting for the purpose of discussing policy and consider legislative ideas. There is a table for policy. There it is, Policy 47. So if you're interested in serving on any of those committees, or you have a new committee you'd like to discuss, please see Daniel Peden and sign up. Here in the 47th Assembly District, we've been working really hard. Many of you say, Eloise, you're all over the place. We just make sure that we post all of our photos. That's what it is. But in fact, we have hosted or co-hosted in 2018 over 140 events. I've asked my staff to share a map that shows the locations of our events, sort of to create a visual of where we've been. Check that out. I'm really proud of the work that my staff has done to coordinate these events. One of the things that we did was our 30 Under 30 program. We honor 30 young people under the age of 30, nominated by the community. We select them because they've done something extraordinary for the community. But beyond being selected, they said, no, we want to do something more. We want to do a service program. So we did, and the first one we did, and we have our muralist and artist, Rory, here with us. So the project that was selected was to paint a mural at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School. Here's a clip of that service project. The under 30 honorees were going to identify a project. They said, we want something that's going to be meaningful. We want to pick a school that's willing to work with us. And they found the right school. This blank wall was quickly identified as the blank canvas that could be used to inspire the students who walk past it every single day.
We want to make sure that we are every single day representing the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King and his passion and perseverance and making sure that we're successful.
Got it.
Rory Murray was referred to the planning committee, and once he said yes, we were so excited.
I love San Bernardino. We've been through a lot. We've got some great people and some wonderful history in this town.
To have Martin Luther King up here in your wall, that's amazing, because Martin Luther King had a dream. And his dream is right here, represented in each one of you guys.
When you walk past this, you're going to say, I had something to do with this.
I painted that.
In addition to the programs that we planned, I also was very busy going to all of your events. You invite me, I'll go. If I can be there, I will always be there. So I've asked my staff to plot on a map all the events that I've joined you at. Those are the blue dots. And in addition to all of the events that I've gone to, you tell me that my staff works really hard. Oh, yes, they work really hard. So let's plot on there where my staff has been. I love this visual. I really do. Because this is the way it's supposed to be. If we represent you, we have to be where you want us to be. My staff works extremely hard. They really do. They work so hard, and they work hard because they love all of you, and they want to see you all succeed. There are lots of success stories where people call into the office and they ask for help on various issues, whether it's DMV, whether it's EDD, whatever it is. But sometimes it's something that's kind of off the beaten path. We had a family of 7 reach out to the office because they were losing their home. There was a loss of a job and just a downturn in economic viability, and they were going to lose a house. So they called the office. No, this is the wrong story. That's the next story. The first story is that this family didn't have a refrigerator. So they called and said, can you help us? Is there anything? I know that's not what you guys do. So my office was in contact with a local church, talked about it, and by the end of the week, they had their refrigerator. That's the story. Now, the family of 6, that's the one I started to tell you about. It's only 6, not 7. This family was losing their home. And my office contacted the mortgage company, contacted everybody they needed to contact, and eventually they were able to make the arrangements. They were able to keep their home just in time for the holidays. We had a senior who called the office. She'd been living in a senior apartment, and for months and months had been complaining because there were bugs, bed bugs, and they kept ignoring her. She called our office, and my office made all the necessary phone calls, worked with the management. Within a few days, within 1 day, it was taken care of, and she didn't have the problem again. I will tell you that every year we have our Senior Advocacy Week, and the Senior Advocacy Week is when we go to the senior housing or senior centers. My first year we did 14. My second year we did over 20. So for an entire week we dedicated to our seniors, and we visit them, and we talk to them, and we take experts to answer their questions. I do want to invite you to look at the poster boards all around the room on regarding all the different programs, not all of them, some of the programs that we have done, like the 30 Under 30 that I talked about a little while ago. We also host a program, The Bridge. The Bridge is a program that bridges our local officials, our community, and our faith-based community, because that is the best way to solve many of the issues that affect all of us as a community. Our Young Legislators is a program for high school sophomores and juniors. This is a program that allows them to, they start to develop our leaders. We have some of our young legislators in the back here. And we have some of our past young legislators. So they meet once a month, and at the end of this period, and this time it's going to be next month, we're taking them all up to Sacramento, and they get to meet with legislators, they get to meet with others to find out what Sacramento is all about. So if any of you haven't received calls, you'll be receiving a call from Maha. She needs sponsors. We also are going to have the Parent Education Summit. It's coming this year. Esmeralda from my office has been meeting with parents. They've been complaining about some of the issues that they're finding in their schools. And so what we have decided to do is to have an education summit. We'll talk about every aspect of education. We will invite all of our local educators to come and work with us so that we can solve and at least address the issues that they have brought to us. Another is Dream Big IE. This particular program was specifically for our millennials. We wanted them to dream big. We wanted them to think about the issues and the problems affecting our community and then think outside the box and talk to us about solutions. Oftentimes, we've lived through all of these and we think somebody's already tried that, forget it, no, it's not going to work. But my millennials, they work hard. And they found solutions to all of the issues that we talked about. They put together plans. One of those that they came up with, an issue was sidewalks in Muscoy. Even in the elementary schools, there aren't sidewalks around the schools. And these are students now who are now in high school, but they lived it when they were in elementary school. And that's what they wanted, sidewalks for Muscoy. So we got started with a program, and we helped them. I can't say we did the grant application. We helped them do the grant application. We've been advocating. We've spoken at a number of events, and we're waiting to see if they are selected. But one way or another, mark my words, we're going to get sidewalks for Muscoy. And I rarely make promises. My staff is going, oh my word, she promised. Another is our Girls and Young Women Empowerment Conference. We've had some powerful speakers and presenters. And if any of you would like to be those presenters, let us know. Our young women, they're amazing. And we got capes for them, so they were our superheroes. And one of the other poster boards you will see recognizes those people in the community that have been nominated for a number of different reasons. Woman of the Year, Veteran of the Year, Nonprofit of the Year, Small Business of the Year, and the newest addition, because we had some complainers, Man of the Year. Amen. My staff and I will continue to fight for you and to work for you. And at this time, I would like to introduce my district staff. Would you come on up here? My district director, Roxana Gracia. Daryl Fry represents me in San Bernardino. Daniel Peden represents me in Grand Terrace and Rialto. Esmeralda, she's our newest addition. We're so excited. Esmeralda came in. She says, give me a city. I said, they're all taken. Give me any city. I'll do San Bernardino. I said, that's the biggest one. I'm in. And then she said, I really want to work with the parents. And that's exactly what she's been doing. And the parents love her. She'll say, okay, we have an event with parents. Come on over and speak with them. So I'm expecting a small group. It is a room full of parents. Amazing. Maha Rizvi represents me in Colton and Fontana. And Maha works with our youth, our young legislators, our youth. When we did the Young Legislators program my first year, I said, we'll do it next year. She said, I'm ready to do it. I said, okay, let's do 15, because remember, we have to pay to take them up to Sacramento. Well, she said, after she did her interview, she says, I have 30. What? And then a week later, she says, oh, I hadn't finished interviewing. We have 35. So last year, we did take 35 students to Sacramento. Lucy Prion was here earlier, but Lucy is the scheduler. So if you ever want to make an appointment, it doesn't matter what you say to any of them. If Lucy doesn't put it on the calendar, it's not on. Please, a round of applause. Mark, Matt, would you come on up here too? It's for my very amazing staff. Yes. Oh, let's get together for the photo. If we don't get here now, we'll never get a photo. And Daryl says, tell them to tag us. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce someone who performed last year, and she's just so amazing. Tamisha Clark.
When I am down and oh, my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and set a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. And I am strong when I am on your shoulder. Oh, you raise me up to more than what I can be. There is no life outside His hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. And then you come and I am filled with wonder. Sometimes I think I've glimpsed eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. And I am strong when I am on your shoulder. Oh, you raise me up to more than what I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. And I am strong when I am on your shoulder. Oh, you raise me up to more than what I can be.
Y'all can do better down for Miss Tamisha Clark. Amazing, amazing voice. Thank you so much. Now I invite Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Colton, Council Member, Mayor Pro Tem Ernest C. Nettles.
Eloise, Colton's favorite, trailblazing daughter. This certificate of commendation, Assemblymember Eloise Reyes. Whereas Eloise Gómez Reyes was elected to the California State Assembly in November 2016 to represent California's 47th Assembly District, which includes the communities of Colton, Fontana, Grand Terrace, Rialto, San Bernardino, and the unincorporated communities of Bloomington and Muscoy. And whereas Eloise's commitment to civic engagement is a culmination built over years of experience, which goes back to her humble upbringing as a young girl picking grapes and onions in the fields with her family. And whereas Eloise graduated from Colton High School, a proud Yellow Jacket, yes we are, and received her AA from this fine institution, San Bernardino Valley College. After completing her undergraduate degree at the University of Southern California, Eloise went on to earn her law degree from Loyola Law School. And whereas her determination, perseverance, and conviction to succeed has enabled her to be a voice for the voiceless and an asset for those requiring legal representation but are unable to afford it. Working alongside legal aid, she helped provide free legal services and represented the residents of the Inland Empire time and time again, giving dignity and providing proper representation to those in her community that needed it most. The lack of access to quality legal services in her community led her to become the first Latina to open her own law firm in the Inland Empire. And whereas, among her accomplishments, Eloise succeeded in representing the residents of Colton in their effort to prevent the development of a hazardous waste dump in their community. And whereas, throughout your tenure, you have supported the citizenry of Colton and the City Council's priorities. You have been a visionary and served with great passion, unselfishly giving of your time, never losing sight of your ideals while promoting public service. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Mayor of the City of Colton, Frank Navarro, along with fellow City Council members, deem it an honor and privilege to commend the Honorable Assembly Member for devoting her life to the people of this community and further urge all citizens to express appreciation for her dedicated service. In witness thereof, hereunto our hand, the seal of the City of Colton, this January 18th of 2019.
Wow. Completely unexpected. I love my Colton, but I love all my other cities too. I love all my other cities too. Like my children. I want to tell you what we're doing now. What's next? Well, now the speaker has, I'm so proud, appointed me chair of the Human Services Committee. I want to thank him for having the confidence in me to appoint me to such an important committee. The jurisdiction of this committee includes the vital issues such as child care, community care licensing, homelessness, developmental services, and critical parts of our social safety net, including foster care, CalFresh, and CalWorks. As chair, I will advance equitable solutions to some of the state's most complicated problems, leaving no one behind. I've been asked, what are my priorities for this next year? Well, my priorities are whatever it is that will give my community dignity, making sure that we have equity, inclusion, and self-determination. As part of my new role, something that I will be focusing on is early childhood education. We're so lucky that we have Governor Newsom, who has expressed his desire to make sure that that is a priority. And Speaker Rendon comes from that very community. He's been in early childhood education, recognizes the importance of it. from the discussions that we've had with many of the stakeholders, we realize that child care isn't one size fits all. It isn't just 9 to 5 and that's all we need to do. In fact, we found out that here in the Inland Empire, 70% of all those who avail themselves of subsidized child care have non-traditional schedules. The 9 to 5 will not work for them. So knowing this and knowing that there are so many services for early childhood education, for child care, but there's not one department that handles everything. So one of the first bills that I introduced, in fact, it was the first bill that I introduced, AB 6, will now centralize everything having to do with early childhood education and will create the Office of Early Child Care Education within the Department of Education. We know that when we prioritize our children, making sure that they're safe, making sure that they're cared for, that's something that's good for all of us. Whether you're the parent that's going out to work or you're the parent that's staying at home, knowing your children are safe will help you and without a doubt help your children as well. I also introduced AB 2268 when I became aware that there was a budget bill in 2011 that took away some of the vehicle license fees for over 140 cities in the state of California. 2 of those cities are in my district, San Bernardino and Fontana. And between those 2 cities, they have lost almost $900,000 annually. Annually. That means less police. That means less services. We've got to change that. This is for recently annexed areas of those communities. So I have introduced a bill, as soon as I find that, AB 2268. I had a similar bill last year, and it was held up. I've already talked to the speaker. I talked to the appropriations chair. I said, this is not fair to my communities. I have 2 communities affected. We need to bring that money back. So we will be fighting for that. It's one of my priorities. And this year I'm also, in addition to my other committees, I'm also a member of the Assembly Budget Committee. It's a subcommittee on natural resources and transportation. And you know that's so important in our community. So I will be able to make the decisions or offer my opinion regarding natural resources and transportation for the entire state of California. And you know that if it doesn't include my district, the answer is no. The truth is, only together can we push for the 2 things that I hope you see are part of the theme of what we're talking about, and that is inclusion and equity. And so now, dun, 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 dun. Oftentimes when we talk about the political process, we have those who get and those who don't. We have those who are inside, those who are outside. And that's not what we should be about. I have such wonderful staff. We've already talked about them. You all have been so important to everything that we have done to make sure that we are inclusive and to make sure that equity is at the top of this, not just equality. Because first we have to get everybody up to the same level. Then once we get everybody at the same level, then we talk about equality going up. But we have too many people that don't have what others have. We need equity, and we will fight for that. The truth is that we know that there are lots of obstacles in the journey that we have started on. Those obstacles, when we overcome them, they become opportunities. They become lessons for us. Helps us to be better next time. Helps us to see who we excluded. Helps us to see where we didn't do the right thing. It's not always easy to do the right thing. We know that sometimes we stay silent because it's convenient. When we're silent, it's the same as if we were speaking against it. So we must let our voices be loud and clear. Yes. And our voices will be loud and clear on the journey. And the journey will be with all of us together. In reality, everything that I've told you today is not going to matter if it's just my words. It has to be our words. It has to be our plan to do what is good for our community. In Sacramento, they know that if anybody suggests anything to me, my first question is, how does Assembly District 47 benefit from this? I know they get tired of hearing it, but they come with the answer before they even come to ask me the question. My goal isn't that I succeed. My goal is that we all succeed, and I know that we can. John F. Kennedy said, "Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Let us not seek to blame. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past. Let us accept our own responsibility for the future." I look forward to a future with all of you. I look forward to a future that includes every one of you, that includes your issues, because your issues are what I'm doing, what I'm taking care of in Sacramento. I look forward to a future that is inclusive, that is equitable for everyone here in the 47th Assembly District. I want to be on this road together with you. I want to go far with you. And I want, in the end, for all of us to prosper. I thank you so very much for spending this evening with us. I hope that you will continue to go far with me. Thank you.